Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hello, welcome to the February 8th edition of Basis Loaded with Joe Schmit. I am Joe Schmit. This episode is produced by Paige Driscoll with help from EverAg Insights. And what we're here to do is to break down the latest NDPSR reports, starting with butter. This butter number coming in, 238.17, is a really nice price. That is a plus 11 to the CME 1 week average of 227.15. We only traded 3 loads on the CME, so nothing to pull that basis down. 11 over is well over our expected 2-cent positive basis. It's interesting that the CME was down 8, and then that is the low week here at 227.15 on the CME, and then up 7. None of that 8-cent decline, you'll notice, got into the NDPSR, with the NDPSR only dropping 4 cents. We had expected volume, 3.5 million pounds, almost exactly in the butter, with outsized basis, possibly giving us a clue as to the relative demand and the stabilization in the low 30s and now the low 240s. Moving on to cheese in the blocks, 206.23, also a higher than expected price. 206.23 represents a plus 10 to the CME 1 week average of 195.69. Now you remember the CME has been yo-yoing around between, call it 202 and 215, and the NDPSR was pegged at that 212 half-ish level. To get to this 195.69, we went from a $2 weekly average up to 213 and then broke 18 cents to get down to this 195.69. So down 18 is a massive move on the CME. Of that 18 cents, we were able to get 2 cents, down 2 cents in the block. And what's interesting is the volume a little bit understated for the second week in a row, coming in well below our expected 12.5 million pounds. So higher than expected price, but buyers not too enthusiastic about that price level, picking up just short of 12 million pounds in the blocks. In barrels, things moving a little bit closer to chalk, 170.63. That's a plus 7 to the CME 2-week average of 163.41. Now we averaged 23 loads each week on the CME, the 2 weeks that I used to come up with that 163.41. And that 2-week average at the CME is down 8 cents from the prior week's 2-week CME average. Here on the NDPSR moved 6 cents lower. So we gained a little bit of basis up to a plus 7 over from last week's plus 5. What's interesting and a stark contrast to the blocks is big volume here in the barrel at that 170-ish level, 14.4 million pounds. So huge volume in the barrel, light volume in the block, however, both with higher than expected basis. Speaking of higher than expected basis, Whey, 41.37. That's a plus 8 to the CME 1 week average of 33 cents. We traded 16 loads on the CME to get that CME down to 33. Buyers in the real world, not so fast. Actually up week to week, almost 1.3 cents. And then again, big volume, 5.2 million pounds. So higher than expected volume, higher than expected price in Whey. And of course, the CME traded all the way down to the 33 cent level, did not spend much time there before retracing back up into the low 40s. That looks like the level that the NDPSR decided to consolidate at. So it's interesting to, when you're calculating the remainder of the Feb pricing, what do you really do with Feb Whey? I, for one, am plugging in 41 cents for the remainder of the Feb pricing, thinking that we just don't see any of that low 30s on the NDPSR. And then lastly, Nonfat, 131.02. That's a plus 11 to the CME 1 week average of 120.19. Now, the CME was down 7.5 cents to get to that 120.19. NDPSR, why not? Up 3. So that's what accounts for the outsized basis. That 11 over, of course, is well above our expected 2-cent positive basis. Lower values at the CME, higher values on the NDPSR. That's the recipe for higher than expected basis. So this is week 1 of 4 for the Fed pricing cycle. Currently getting February class 3, 17.98. February class 4, 19 even. If you carry current CME equivalents out through the remaining or all of the 5-week March pricing cycle, getting March class 3, 17.50, March class 4, 18.75. We'll see what they have in store for us in the weeks to come. On behalf of Paige, I am Joe Schmit. Thanks so much. See you next week. Bye.